Remember that they're changing my voice. When you see the picture on the screen, you should know that I'm right immediately. Immediately. That there's a bunch of narcissists in society. There's a bunch of people who try to pretend that they're not helping them out. It's like back in the day when they used to lynch black people publicly with the whole town coming out. Okay, people would act crazy. Some of them would act more serious and more dark, kind of evil crazy. Some would act more cartoon smile crazy. And some were cops that felt kind of bad, and some you see some old ladies with a sad look in their eyes and things like this. This is the society that we still have. And we know for many, many, many reasons that that must be the case. We know because of what's going on in the news. We know because of the type of people delivering the news, the types of politicians we see, the way sports players have changed to be sort of immature, joker like goons. Kind of surrealism coming into play. We see nepotism and favoritism and narcissism are at an all time high. We see because of the indifference shown to the homeless population. It's not very hard for the churches and the corporate sector and the government to have small, new, and affordable taxes on people who can afford them to house people. It doesn't cost very much to build a tiny home with running water and air conditioning. Okay, it doesn't take much thinking to look at places that are cheaper to build land and build things in and start building there and move homeless people there. These things aren't that hard to figure out. And it's better for the entire population. But instead, we see this kind of purge mentality. Think about the Purge official trailer where they're wearing the mask with a smile on their face. Okay? And the Purge series and how popular it is, and how there wasn't moral discussions in popular culture discussing the Purge effectively. It's almost as if the movie was a political movie to inspire moral discussions, and people don't want to talk about these things because they're partaking in these things. There's various military groups, intelligence agency groups, their networks, their assets, drug cartels, corporate networks, pharmaceutical companies, various mental health groups, social groups, political groups, even sex cults like Keith Rainier and Allison Mack's sex cult, and all the people who were part of those sex cults who were not imprisoned for their activities in those sex cults. Massive corporate networks and massive sex cults must be the case. People will say something stupid like these are just baseless accusations. That's like saying to argue that there's gang members committing crimes all the time in this country is a baseless accusation because they haven't been not all of them are arrested for it. So wait till they're arrested for it. But when we look at people who are privileged and less likely to be arrested for it, we know that the proof is going to be a bit harder to find. But that doesn't mean that it's not an overwhelmingly logical conclusion and sound conclusion that there are massive sex cults at any given moment. We see the prostitutes and the sex, red light district workers all over the world. Okay, we see Las Vegas, Sin City, New York, the Rotten Apple. It is a very dark and evil and psychotic society where they are trying to pretend that the most righteous person that ever lived, logically and proven, the son of two doctors, one a brain surgeon, the top martial arts challenger, trying to pretend that these things mean nothing. Why they suppress my videos? What are the odds that somebody who has an up to $10 million top martial arts challenge is not getting a lot of views? Obviously, we know what's going on here. And we must question everything, including who's allowed to see my videos and why. I'm not some crazy person going on and on for no reason. Okay? When we consider the information I have to deliver and how many channels I've made, we've considered me being hacked so effectively and deliberately and insistently on Facebook. We consider how me just going to website, me going to news sites, me going to Wikipedia, I get hacked through these sites. Bible Gateway, the Bible sites. PopularBible.com, I'll get hacked in the next week if I click there. You see what I'm saying? People are monitoring me, whether it's through their site I'm being hacked or otherwise. What I'm doing is very logical, very strategic with everything considered. I came up with the bumper stickers and the flyers and the printouts. Okay, I've done everything that one could possibly expect me to do. I was even blinded at one point for several days. And they threaten me with blinding if I go on a mission, right? It's subtly and otherwise there. If I go out and start wandering America by myself with no one I know, I could go blind on the road. I could go blind in a hotel. Okay? They're fuming me all the time. And they've shown an ability to fume me whether I'm here or 100 miles away. They fume me in Santa Cruz. They fume me in Gilroy. They fume me in Campbell, California. They persecute me and gang stalk me in San Francisco. Okay? See, if I go 50 miles away, if I go to Sacramento, there's no reason to believe that if I went to one of these other states where people have reported gang stalking, some of them have witnesses, some have more logical and believable stories, some don't. Okay? There's no reason to believe that the targeting wouldn't stop. So that risk isn't a logical risk to take. And this is destiny. If your destiny to be born evil and you never come across people that help you out of it, then you're going to be evil and you're going to go to hell. And it has to do with your forefathers' decisions. Your parents throw you off a cliff as a child. What happens to you is what happens to you. There is no magic pass because people weren't made aware of me. You know, you get what you get. God judged that other people are not worthy of going to heaven if they don't obey God through me in a timely fashion. That's just how it is. And it has to do with how history played out. There are whole tribes that were wiped out. You think it's fair that they're not here? They have no offspring to represent them whatsoever? There are groups where the more impressive members of their groups are wiped out. You think it's fair that those people don't get to reproduce, but the people who were quick to sell them downriver do? Certainly, you all know that the decisions of your forefathers and foremothers make it so you all deserve to go to hell a million times over. It's right there in Christian popular culture. When they say that everyone's born sinners and they deserve to go to hell, but they're saved, you know, quote unquote, they believe that, or they argue at least that they're saved by the grace of God. No. You don't get to be smiling ass narcissists and cowards afraid to stand up to them and then magically go to heaven. Whoever thinks you do is sicker than it gets. You're sicker than the sickest dog there ever was. What is wrong with you people if you think you get to team up with these narcissists and obey them and magically you're right with God or something? It's just fucking insane. That's why it's always been so easy for the enemies of Christianity and Judaism and Islam to take shots at them, because you people are not fair. You people are not righteous. And all the scum of the world with their despicable movements, okay, are quick to say that you're no better than they are, and they're basically right, and sometimes they're more right than they seem, because you claim to be holy. When you claim to be holy, when you're evil, it makes you more evil, not less. If you do it so that people can delight in evil, they say, hey, you know, we like to go to Disneyland. We have our family moments. Those moments are evil because they're built on evil. You're in the energy and spirit of evil. You're in the mentality of evil. Your relationships are ill-gotten gains. So when you have children, you have those family moments, that's just delighting in evil. And you still have presented no viable counter-argument because there isn't one. So when you claim that you're holy in order for those moments to feel more fun and feel more genuine when they're faker than hell, you're just more evil than you otherwise would be. You're misleaders, you're false prophets, you're wolves in sheep's clothes. That's why Christ put a special emphasis on saying, beware of wolves in sheep's clothes. If there was more elaboration done, you would have seen that he was indignant. If he's indignant at those people in the Bible, at those moments they say in Mark and Luke, you know, and the moneylenders and so on and so forth, and even his disciples, when they rebuke people, they rebuke the children, saying, he said he was indignant at them. He said, stop stopping the children from coming to me. You're letting the children look up to a bunch of filth instead of God's Son for petty reasons, for selfish and pathetic reasons. You want your kids to be the stars? Look at the laughable celebrities we have. They're all a joke. There isn't a single celebrity that's respectable. Not a single famous person. Think about it. Narcissists. Look at the pictures on the screen too. One of them that you should see right now is a female, looks like she's Indian or something. A certain type of Indian that looks like that. You know, there's certain other races like Native Americans, you know, maybe South American mixed with something else. There's certain other races, but it's something like that. Why did they use that as a cover? When the white Jew and LGBT are the main people doing it. Well, she's Jewish-like to some degree. Yeah, it's subtly there. They like to scapegoat other groups, and that just makes them more guilty, not less. Then you see below that, you see this guy with a hammer. So there's a lot of people who say, well, she's smiling in a way that looks mischievous. So what? They would have said stupid shit like that if it wasn't for the psychopath looking guy, with some kind of animal mask or animal head. I haven't seen the movie myself, with a big sledgehammer that's red with the color of evil that matches the red of the smile writing. And on the other side of the picture, you should see a female. Again, we see tons of females like this in society. It looks like fucking Chucky or something. It looks like the Addams Family girl. It has commonalities with these ideas. This kind of crazy doll look, this kind of sick fuck theater arts occult look is all too common these days. And you see the right wing, because it's more associated with white people, they tend to do it a little bit more subtly, and they tend to try to scapegoat the left. They say, look at those liberals in Hollywood, those heathens, while we are true to the white race. Okay? That's why people like Dixon White, well, he's the only one I really came across, but other people somewhere, somehow were saying it. Okay? He's white. His name's even Dixon White. He says he used to be a racist. And he's like, why don't you people do something? Say something. Say he's not proud of white America anymore. He's not proud to be white. He's tired of them abusing their power and acting bad, and doing acts of cowardice and calling it acts of bravery. You watch it for yourself to hear it from his own words. Okay? He said, do something, say something. He didn't say, well, you got to watch your own ass. That's all that matters. He said, do something, say something. He said, well, you got a career, right? You got kids? No. He said, do something, say something. Stop contributing to this white occult supremacy, white, Jew, and LGBT. Some people say, well, it's the Jews. Well, then why are Jupiter and Juno Greek deities, right? It's Greece. Were the Greeks Jews too? And when the Romans spread across Europe, were all the Europeans Jews too? You have the Club of Rome. Is it the Club of Israel? Freemasons. Freemasonry did not start in Israel. Modern Freemasonry, Western Freemasonry is usually credited as starting in England. You see social clubs. Why don't they dress like rabbis or something? It's Western culture. Why are Jews wearing t-shirts and jeans? It's Western culture. Greek societies, Greek fraternities in college. It's Western culture. We speak English, not Hebrew. It's Western culture. Surfing and skating. A bunch of you dress like a Jew when you do these things. It is white Western culture, and the Jew is just one faction of it that is, quite often, members of their groups, quite often they're clearly doing the wrong thing, and everyone outside the divine order who's not obeying God through me, Jewish or otherwise, is doing the wrong thing. So is the answer to scapegoat the Jews and to play good white-skinned person, bad white-skinned person psychology, like some kind of scared little girl? Or is Dixon right when he says, do something, say something. Do the right thing. Like Dr. Laura Schlesinger. I think she might even be a Jew. She used to say, I used to listen to my mom listen to her in the car, and she'd say, now go out and do the right thing. Right? Go out and do the right thing. Something to that effect. She'd say, now go out and do what's right. Don't do what's wrong. Do something right, say something right, and do it for the right reasons, and don't just do some half-ass shit and say, well, you did something right. Do what is right. Be on the right path in your right mind. Be righteous. Don't be someone playing stupid about all these sniveling spirits. We see all these psychopaths. Okay, and I'll leave you with this. They do this also to trigger the warrior spirit, the African warrior spirit of God. Why? Because there was a bunch of weird, why Africans were doing martial arts and forming, the most competitive, most athletic bodies on the planet. There was a bunch of ruffians from other places, not just of other races, some of them were black, and they would come to Africa, and they would harass them, and they'd act like they're like, why we're here, because they're there, like the Greco-Roman mysteries, the rape of Europa, the rape of the Sabines. They're there to kidnap and rape Ethiopian women, Egyptian women. They were there to kidnap and rape, and they make that stupid, sniveling, smiling face that reflected that they're narcissists, they're only concerned with money, and those things that I discussed. Thank you.